Hey y'all, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about just soup basics. One of the easiest meals that you can put on the table for your family. It's not very time consuming. You basically only mess up one dish or one pot. And it's so simple to put a warm soup on the table, wintertime, fall time, any time of the year. It doesn't have to be cold weather to enjoy a good soup. So walk with me today and come and talk with me as we talk over just basic soup making, okay, to warm your bellies up. Hey y'all, welcome to our channel. My name is Tracy and I'm the keeper of the home here at 4D Farms, where we are all about faith, family, home, and farm, and in that order. And we're kind of like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So y'all just come on in, grab a seat, take a look, and have a listen, because you don't want to miss a thing. All right, y'all, get out your pen and a piece of paper if you want to. It's not going to be long and lengthy, just a quick little note to write down, because to any kind of soup that you're making, you're basically going to go through these same steps, and you're going to need like just certain steps to follow, okay, for any kind of soup. And then you can get into chilies, different kind of chilies, but let's start out with soup first. And the good thing about this is you can downsize it or you can upsize it, okay? So I'll go ahead and tell you a good tip right now. Just something that I like to do. Go ahead, if you're going to do this and you're going to get out all these ingredients, get them out one time and make a big batch. Y'all, if you make a big batch, you can use a big aluminum stock pot, or you can use a Dutch oven kettle, a big pot, something like that. Go ahead and make a big batch. Eat off of it for like 1 or 2 days leftovers. Pair it with some bread or some rolls or some cornbread. When you get tired of eating off of it and you've still got a whole bunch left that you made on purpose, can it if you can, or section it out into meals, into freezer safe containers, and pop those babies in the freezer to pull out for a meal for later. Y'all, I love batch cooking and purposely doubling recipes or tripling recipes for that purpose, because just like I said, if you're going to get all this stuff out, get it out one time. Use it one time, okay? And then make some meals for later, okay? Put some in the freezer. Can it up. Y'all, sometimes I can accidentally make too much spaghetti. Does anybody else have that problem? You know, because you never can judge how much you're going to get out of that little handful of noodles, and you're like, that don't look like enough noodles. I think I need to add some more. Then before you know it, you've wound up making enough spaghetti to feed an army, okay? Y'all, take your leftover spaghetti after you've ate off of it for a couple of nights, or you've repurposed it, okay? Put what's left in the freezer, a freezer container. Put it in the freezer. Write what's on it. Bring it out. Thaw it out for another night. Oh, we're having spaghetti again. They'll never know. Okay, now, soup making basics. It is simple. All you need is like 4 or 5 little steps, y'all. So we're going to start with the first step. You're going to pick your root vegetables. Something that, and you're going to start with these because they're going to take the longest to cook, like carrots. Okay, start with your longest cooking vegetables first. Okay, I'm just going to throw you out some ideas, but you can come up with your own later. Okay, sit down and think about what your family likes. Okay, your root vegetables, carrots. I like to use celery. I like to pair carrots and celery and onion together. Okay, now I know onion's not going to take as long to cook as carrots, but for some reason those 3 vegetables just go good together. Okay, I like to pair those. I like to throw in some garlic. okay? Then I will saute all those together in either just a little bit of oil or just a little bit of butter, salt and pepper, okay? Just saute them, sweat them just a little bit, okay? There's just something about sauteing them and sweating them down just a little bit that just puts a little more flavor to your soup base, okay? So this is the first base of your soup making. Then you're going to want to add, you can add some kind of, next, well, no, you can either do this now or you can do this at the very end, okay? Excuse me, y'all. Your next step is going to be some kind of protein. Y'all have to write this down because I'm like, hey, I need to make a video of this, or I need to write this down, because if I don't do it right then, y'all, these thoughts start leaving my head and they won't come back for a while. So I have to write it all down. So y'all bear with me as I have to put my glasses on. All right. So then your next base is gonna be some kind of protein. Okay. This can be in bean form, or this can be in meat form. Okay, add some kind of bean. You can add the cans or the pre-cooked beans. Now, just know that if you're going to use dried beans, you're going to want to go ahead and pre-soak those, unless you are going to open up a can of already cooked beans, okay? So just know that if you're going to use dried beans, you're going to want to go ahead and pre-soak and pre-cook those, okay? Because a dried bean is going to take longer to cook, and you can't just throw them in at the last minute, okay? So a good tip would be to use a canned bean, okay? But if you're going to use dried beans and you're like, you know what can I do with these? Go ahead and say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pre-soak these and pre-cook these for a soup later on I'm going to be making, okay? So then you're going to need your protein, some kind of bean, and any kind of bean. You can use lentils, you can use navy beans, white beans, black beans, red beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, whatever kind of bean you want, okay? Some kind of meat of your choice. This is in the protein department. You can use hamburger meat, pre-cooked. Y'all don't put raw meat in a soup, okay? Don't put raw meat, okay? Kind of brown it, saute it, al dente, whatever, but don't put it in there raw, y'all. If you want to, you can go down that route, but I don't, y'all. Okay, so just kind of pre-cook it. You can use hamburger meat, okay, ground beef, drain it. Saute you up a little bit of beef chunks, okay, like a stew meat, okay. Chicken, okay, any other kind of meat that you want. That's your protein base, okay. Then add some kind of carb or starch, okay. Potatoes, corn, whole kernel corn, throw that in your soup. Y'all, you can throw some green beans in it, okay? And y'all can do these from can, or you can go shopping in your freezer or your pantry. Get out those home canned green beans, those home canned or the frozen corn. Y'all, chunk some stuff in there. Y'all, I have even used some of my frozen squash and zucchini in soups. There you go, okay? You can use those from a frozen state, or you can chop those up fresh from the produce. In your soup bases, you can use canned and just dump it all in a pot, or you can use raw and fresh, okay? Or frozen. So you can make a soup base from anything that you've got in your pantry or your freezer, okay? Or straight from the produce and you've had it in your pantry like potatoes, or you've got carrots and celery and onions in your refrigerator, okay? So you can use any form of the vegetables to make vegetable soup. Okay, are you getting it? All right, so then you're gonna have like your carby vegetables. All right, now you're gonna need your broth base, okay? You're gonna need your liquid, okay? Don't just use water, okay, because you're not going to get much flavor. You're going to have a broth base, okay, which you can either use vegetable broth, beef broth, chicken broth, stock, whatever you call it. You're going to need the liquid, okay? There's beef, chicken, vegetable. What else is there? Am I missing one? Beef, chicken, veg. I don't think I am. You're going to need your broth, okay? Now, to get a little ahead, now throw in some tomatoes if you like tomatoes. Y'all, the possibilities are endless with cooking vegetable soup, okay? So just remember, you're going to start out with your hardest vegetables first, okay? And you can saute them a little bit, all right? Your root vegetables, all right? Then you're going to want your protein base, okay? Which is your beans or your meats. Then throw in your carby, starchy, potatoes and corn, some green beans if you want to, okay? Then your tomatoes. If you don't want tomatoes in there, just hold them out. Don't forget squash and zucchini too. Then just, if you don't want tomatoes in there, don't put them in there, okay? Now, you can kick up your soup a notch and make it more tomatoey by adding tomato sauce or tomato paste. Or you can go on the creamy side and add milk, heavy cream, half and half. There you go. So you've got your basic soup base. Then you can turn it and go creamy, or you can turn it this way and go more saucy tomatoey. Look at there. You've just, now the wheels are turning. You're so many ideas for soups are coming to your mind, okay? Y'all can add cheese. You can add anything you want to your soups, okay? You can add cheeses. You can add herbs, spices, okay? Some garnishes on top, okay? Now, pair it with, like I said, rolls, toast, homemade bread, cornbread, okay? Y'all, you got a meal on the table. And how many vegetables did you put in this soup? How many vegetables are you going to get in your kids? The possibilities are endless, y'all, okay? So I just gave you some ideas of what you can do to start your soup base. You can go this direction or you can go this direction, soup it up. Oh, another thing you can add in is rice, noodles. If you're going to add rice, y'all, do the same thing that you do with the beans. You better pre-cook it first, because if you've got a hard rice and you put it in at the last minute, it's not going to get done. So you better pre-cook your rice. Noodles, don't put them in at the very beginning. They're going to get soggy and mushy and your noodles are not going to work. Noodles you will reserve to the very end and put it in and then let it simmer until your noodles get done. Y'all, you can use the elbow macaroni. You can use the little bitty, what's those little circle, tubular looking things? Look like they just took a pool noodle and just cut it in little chunks. Oh, I don't know what those are called, y'all. But anyway, you can throw a rice in it. Throw it in at the beginning, okay? Or pre-cook it, I mean. Or throw in noodles at the end, okay? You can take spaghetti noodles and chunk them up really fine, okay? A small noodle. Don't smother your vegetable soup. Okay, now vegetable soup, you can either have it kind of on the chunky side or you can have it on the more liquidy side. Just depends on how much juice you put in it, how much broth, how much sauce, how much cream. See? So, just remember your soup basics, okay? Root vegetables. What was next? Protein, meat, beans, or your ricey. Then your carbs and starchy, which will be potatoes, corn, rice, starches. Then tomatoes, okay? Don't forget your broth, okay? You can't have a soup without the broth. There's your basics for starting a good soup, y'all. And then You can go different directions. Let's just recap, okay? I'm just trying to help you out with your little notes there in case you're writing, okay? In case we forgot something, let's recap just a little, okay? And then pair it with whatever bread. Oh, y'all, French bread, okay? Dinner rolls. Y'all, you can use leftover bread that you've had for something else. If you've got bread going bad, toast it up and serve it with like some croutons on top. Make homemade croutons, okay? You don't have to just go in there and make a homemade loaf of bread, okay? If you got bread going bad, hamburger buns going bad, okay? Find a way to use up some leftover stuff in the bread. Y'all, that's a good way to use up leftover vegetables from previous meals that's in your refrigerator. And you're like, what can I do with these leftover vegetables? Cha-ching! Soup, baby. Okay? Throw it in a pot. Add your broth. Add you some extra stuff. There you go. Good way to repurpose leftovers in the refrigerator. Grab everything out and make a soup, okay? If you got some spinach or kale or something like that going bad, throw that in there, okay? Give it a little extra iron. You can add some leafy greens in there at the very end because you don't want them all mushy, okay? Add you some leafy greens at the end. How many vegetables did you just get in your kids or in your family? Count them up. Okay, that's the basics of your soup making, y'all. That was not hard at all. Okay, now, if you got all these leftovers, like I mentioned, write this down again. Make sure you took notes right there. Did you write down? Can it up. Okay, I will purposely make a big batch and I will ladle it into my jars. Debubble, wipe the lids and rims off, and put the caps and bands on, fingertip tight. Put them babies in the pressure cooker. You probably will want to pressure cooker it because you're going to have so many vegetables and you've got meat in there. But if you do want to process it and you don't have a pressure canner and you still want to can it to put it on the shelf to make it last longer, you can water bath it for up to 3 hours, okay? There's your 2 ways you can have some meals on hand for later. If you don't want to pressure cook it or can it or water bath it, put it in freezer containers, freeze it. Pull out those babies and use it for later. That was not hard at all. Look, now you've got the basics of soup making. Now you can get so many more vegetables in your family. Y'all use your creativity. Have fun with it. Play around with it. Use different things, different concoctions, different vegetables. Try it different ways with the cream side or the tomato sauce side. Make your own creations and have fun in your kitchen. Get those kids in there to help chop and dice up those vegetables. Make sure they know how to use a knife. Use caution, okay? Get those older kids in there. Start teaching them some culinary skills, some cooking skills. You will thank me later. Maybe one day when you get sick and you've got the flu or something and you want just a nice warm soup, your kids can make you some soup. I hope y'all have enjoyed this video. Go use your creativity, get in your kitchen, and have fun. I will catch y'all in the next one.